Hello, and welcome to this extension or part 2 video on how to fake reverb with ring modulation, which was a video on Rob Hordike's poor man's delay technique. And if you haven't seen that video, I strongly suggest watching that first before this better than ever, I can't believe it's not reverb, extended technique. Like the original video, this is a better bleeps series video. Better Bleeps is a series based on techniques not specific to pieces of gear or sponsored demos. They are techniques and ideas applicable to lots of equipment, and it's all about the functions and techniques for synthesis, sound design, and possibly some music production and composition tips in the future too. We can, however, think of this as sponsored by my Patreon supporters. Thank you to them all for supporting what we do, which allows for videos like this to exist. So in the original video, we go back to 2017 and Rob Hordike presenting an idea with a ring modulator and how you can use that as a poor man's delay.
But now I turn it to the left. Is there an echo? Is there a reverb?
And on that video, I got a comment from Vacancy of Disco who said, I'm going to have to try this on the Hydrasynth. I think it can be done by patching the mod out with an envelope into the mod in, going into the ring mod. And as you can see, we got chatting and I replied about applying a negative voltage needed for this technique with one of the envelopes in the Hydrasynth's mod matrix. And this gave me a real kind of Alan Partridge aha moment, and how we can extend this technique. So let's get into the technique as it was in the first video, and then we'll build from there. I'll name the modules I'm using just so you know what we're looking at, but this is applicable to many things and not just these specific modules. So here we have an oscillator, Mutable Instruments Tides, going into one input on a ring modulator, the Bafako A×B+C, and we have a combination of an envelope, Fuji from Vostok Instruments, and a negative voltage generated and mixed together here on the motion meter from Bafako and Molten Music, and that's controlling the ring modulator's second input. And we're going to get a kind of slapback-like sound by applying the negative offset, but here's the sound kind of without the technique applied, i.e. no negative envelope, and it just sounds like a standard VCA. And then as I add some negative offset, you can see the resulting mix here on this yellow trace. We're dipping through zero to a softer sound that's polarity flipped or phase inverted, and that's the psychoacoustic effect that gives us this fake reverb.
The reason why that happens is because I now basically sync my envelope a little bit through silence, and a soft sound that is in inverse phase is heard after the envelope. And our mind thinks, oh, it's an inverse phase, it must come from another direction. So this is a total psychoacoustic effect that happens in our head. It doesn't really happen here, it happens in our head. But it's, I like it very much, it's fun. I call it the poor man's delay.
And as fun as this is, it does have one major flaw that I highlighted in that first video, that is when your sequencer stops or there's rests in between the notes, and I can add some rests here on Proteus. This mixture of negative voltage and envelope just sits under 0 volts on that negative voltage, just sustaining the sound in the ring modulator, losing all illusion of this psychoacoustic effect and that kind of little slapback of soft sound. So the solution to that, coming off of that comment, and thanks to Vacancy of Disco for the comment and giving me this aha moment, is to use a second envelope and to invert that, instead of using a constant negative offset. So here is the mailroom from Mega Modular Corp, and that's a full ADSR envelope, and it's playing off of the same gate pattern from Proteus here, splitting a mult, that's also controlling my main Fuji envelope. Fuji is just a simple AD envelope, it's the green trace here on data, but the mailroom is a full ADSR. I've set some attack time, so you can see that we're rising kind of a little bit out of the way of this envelope if you like, sustaining fully for the gate length that we have off of our pattern generator, and then adding some release. The yellow trace here on data is the mix of these two, or it will be in a moment, and the red line there on data is 0 volts. So you can see our positive going envelope modulating the ring mod just like a VCA. Now adding some of this ADSR, polarity flipped in my utility here, and just dialing things in there, you can see we come up positively from our main envelope for our main kind of percussive element of the note. We go through 0, pulled down through 0 by the polaritively flipped or phase inverted ADSR. And then release time, the release brings it back to 0 volts. So it doesn't just work with a constant stream of notes. And you can hear this primitive kind of slapback. Each note kind of has this blip, 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 kind of flam-like reflection to it. And this is a huge improvement, I think, in that we're not just using steadily clocked patterns. It now applies to however you want to play your notes, be it from a keyboard, a wonky rhythm source, a random rhythm, or just something with rests. But there's two extended elements here to kind of improve this further. If I take the orange cable, which is a split of the gate signal that's gating both envelopes currently, and I go into a function generator, and this is off screen, but it's the instro knock. I'm using the gate out from the falling side of its function, with the rise time on the function generator creating a gate delay. And if you're curious about that technique with a function generator, leave a comment and we can discuss it separately. But by delaying the gate that's coming into the ADSR, we can really play around with and be more flexible in kind of timing this little reflection sound of the fake kind of reverb and kind of play around a bit more with the notes. So instead of gating this from Proteus, let me patch in the gate delayed version. And you can instantly hear it's a different sound, so we can play around here a bit more with the shape and the level. And you can, there's more of a dugga 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 dugga. Just a slight delay in how that reflection is kind of coming off. You can turn it up a bit more, make it more obvious. And then the kind of second bit of extending this is to add some tonal change so that the front of the note sounds different to the kind of polaritively flipped little kind of phase inverted fake reverb thing. And I'm doing that by taking a copy of this same modulation envelope modulating the reverb. This is split here in the mult again. And I'm going to wavefold my oscillator. So the front of the note has these added wavefolded harmonics. But the back of the note, as we come through 0 to this polaritively flipped state. And as a reminder, here's not having any of this negative envelope involved. And here's mixing it back in. Without it. And with. And you can play around with different tonal things here. You could use richer waves that you then filter, making the front bit, that main body of the note, sound that bit richer. And the little phase inverted bit here, the kind of reflection, if you like, that we're emulating, just sounding softer, and it helps emphasize that effect. Now, me being me and this being a modular system, there's a couple of completely unrelated to the technique parts going on, which is tides coming into some filtering and some effects. It's just a nice stereo kind of droning wash. And for the actual main sound, I do have some actual delay and reverb effects. The kind of fake reverb, fake first reflection does actually work well with real kind of reverb and ambience DSP. Hopefully you can hear how that kind of, I'm not sure what to call it, but fake reverb, reflection, slapback, any of the terms I've used so far, it plays into actual delays really nicely. So all of that against the droning layer. So here's a relatively quick little follow-up to this kind of fake reverb video. I really did have a aha, and I kind of figured out how to do this in replying to that comment on the original video. And I thought I'd share it. I really like the technique and I really like this extension of it. I hope you've liked this Better Bleep series video. I look forward to doing more of these in the future. Head to patreon.com/DivKid if you'd like to support and have more of these, gain access to exclusives, and to join the DivKid Discord community. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!